Hi everyone, I'm here to talk a little bit more about the rhetorical situation. You'll remember this PowerPoint. I've been through most of the slides in it. I've come back to slide 2 to talk to you about genre and exigence. I've talked with you in previous videos about purpose, audience, a little bit about context, but this time I'm focusing on genre and exigence and putting those in red font so you can see this is our focus. I want to talk with you about them a little bit. And I want to, before I start talking, let you know that I changed the page numbers at the top of this rhetorical situation slide. I'll ask you to take a look at in edition 8, 28, and 29, edition 9, 28, and 20. Wait a minute. Make sure I got the page numbers right. Yes, they are in fact the same. Woo! Okay, so that's really great. I had to stop and because they're always off by like a page and a half or two. It's ridiculous. But anyway, I'm glad you get the choice for the textbook that worked for you. I'm focusing on a different page number because I like the way the textbook talks about kairos in relation to the rhetorical situation. And I think that will tie in with exigence. So I'll get there eventually. I want to talk about genre first. I know you know what genres are. You have studied literature, you have maybe written a literary analysis essay, or you've walked into a bookstore and you've seen the placards above the shelves that say the different genres that the bookstore keeps kind of categorized and organized according to the type of writing that is in the book. Genres work the same way, right? There are different kinds of writing that we do that require certain rules or certain conventions. If I'm writing poetry, I'm writing poetic lines. I might be writing in verse. I might be writing iambic pentameter. But there are all these rules, all these rhythms, all these expectations that readers have if I'm writing in poetry, depending on the form that I'm writing in. If I'm writing for work, business writing, professional writing, emails have certain conventions that are expected. Subject line title, short, condensed, content, not something very long. If it's on the long side, probably bullet points. Right, so these expectations that readers have about genres. Essay writing, mostly you've learned academic essay writing, not personal essay writing, not reflective or exploratory essay writing. You may have done some expository writing, because that can tie in with research writing for sure. And you may have or may not have written sort of a creative approach to an essay, which is sometimes called creative nonfiction. This is not a creative writing class, but I mention these different essay types because essays are not what we write in class. Essays are not only what we write for college classes. They can vary, and they can be a blend or a hybrid of different essay types. And that's what I'm starting to see more and more published in academic journals and published even in online blogs, that they're sort of a combination of that type of writing. It's not journalism. Journalism is something a little different, but even journalistic writing is happening in combination, blending with some of these different essay types. So I'm mentioning genre in this larger way that we understand what genres are according to different types of writing. But within writing, there's also something called a genre. Some people refer to it as a pattern of writing that helps you to develop, add detail, say more about your topic, to make it become an essay, to make it become a paper or a piece of writing. And these genres, I'm going to mention just a couple of them that are on the website I'm asking you to look at. Some of them you remember from high school or even before high school. So some of these patterns of development or these genres are things like comparison and contrast, or cause and effect, or narration, or description. And I'm not going to write all the words out for all the different genres you've probably learned about as you've learned about essay writing. But these are some of them, and there are more. There are even more than some of the ones that you've learned to write in English classes throughout high school and in college. And I want to mention that some of you may have experienced having to write an essay where the teacher or the professor defined that it must be a comparison and contrast piece, or it must be a cause and effect. And so you are, when assigned that type of piece, working within a certain genre of writing. That essay has a specific genre, has certain rules, certain conventions, certain expectations, as I've said about the other types of genres that I went through just quickly. So you need to think of these patterns of writing that we do naturally when we essay write. You know, if I need to compare something, I'll do it. If I don't need to compare something, I won't. If I need to define something, a term or a couple of terms, I'll do that. But if I don't need to use definition, then I won't. You know, so I kind of naturally move into some of these different writing genres within my essays because it helps me to explore my topic, present information on my topic, argue through my topic, whatever it is that I'm doing, whatever my purpose is. So we're studying genres this in Module 3, and I need you to understand that they do work like genres do because they have certain expectations, rules, conventions. I keep using those same synonyms, but this has to do with the reader knowing how to understand how you're moving from one point, one example to the next, using different genres to do that. All right, exigence is something that I like to define as passion or urgency. I think another way to define it would be the reader's sense that the writer is engaged with the topic, cares about the topic, finds the topic to be relevant to the time, and maybe even has information that is pretty important for readers to know sooner than later. So exigence for me has a lot to do with kairos. You'll read on pages 28 and 29 if you want to follow up with this. But kairos, I'm just going to read a short paragraph from page 29. I think, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to pull out some words that I think were really well chosen by the textbook writers. Kairos has to do with choosing a topic, choosing sources, choosing evidence, examples that are not only timely, but I love this phrase. Kairos means seizing moments. So seizing the moment to talk about a topic that is exciting you, that matters to you, that connects with you. And I love I'm going to read this one sentence. It's at the bottom of page 29. Last full paragraph. Kairos means seizing moments and enjoying opportunities, not being overwhelmed by them. So when I read that sentence at the end of page 29 in both editions, it makes it seem to me that this should be essay writing that you enjoy, that doesn't feel like an assignment, that you actually are engaged with and excited about. So here's the challenge with essay 2. You've written it for another class, and I've asked you to redefine the purpose, the audience, write in an additional genre probably that you haven't already written in, but to be able to identify at least 2 different genres. Be able to identify your exigence, which isn't exactly purpose. It's more, again, about your engagement as a writer, your passion, your urgency, maybe your need to solve a problem. It's kind of defined in another way in the discussion board, so I'll let you look at those there. But you hear what I'm saying. The reader needs to sense that you're connected, not that you're just going through the motions of an assignment. So I'll challenge you to think about what your exigence is within your rhetorical situation for your revised essay, which is becoming essay 2 for this class. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. Super excited about your experience with the revision because this is not polishing y'all. This isn't just like changing some spelling errors and adding some commas. No, that's not what revision is at all. You're going to be adding new content and having to make that new content fit in, and possibly having to cut other stuff in the essay that now doesn't fit with the new content. All kinds of things can happen. So I'm so excited to watch this, watch you learn through revision. And as I said before, make sure if you need some support from me, if you want to talk through your essay 2 revision options, I think a check-in meeting would be ideal for this because it's a quick 10 to 12 to 15 minute limit is 15-minute meeting with me where we can brainstorm together and talk about the complications. Kairos is about complication as well. The complication of what you're trying to write about in this moment that seems ideal. Let's talk about it, so you can feel comfortable about moving forward with your writing and your revision. Take care, you all. I'll talk to you soon.